Hey, what's up YouTubers? Welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts video. Today I'm going to share with you guys my full moon video DVD collection. These are DVDs that I picked up over the past 10 years or so. Sadly, I don't have any Blu-rays to show from Full Moon, but I would like to remedy that at some point and pick up some of the Blu-rays that they have out. They have some pretty good stuff. Today I'll be showing you the Grindhouse collection editions that I have. I also have a couple of limited box sets, and I have some signed and numbered DVDs that I'm pretty happy with, and I'm going to show you those last. We'll save the best for last, I guess. And we'll jump right off into the Grindhouse collection. And these are going to be in no particular order. I'm just kind of pulling from a pile here that I have on my bed. Just thought I'd record another little video. I'm kind of bored this week, and hope you guys don't mind. A lot of the titles that you'll see in the Grindhouse collection are kind of upgrades from the Wizard VHS days and the Force VHS days. Those companies that Charles Band owned, those companies, and still owns them. And he upgraded these to DVD. I'm pretty sure most of these do not have Blu-ray releases, though I think some of them do. I'm not exactly sure which ones, but I'm pretty sure most of them don't. So you're going to get a lot of like B movies here. Mansion of the Doomed. This is a film from 1976. And they kind of toyed around with different numbering systems. You can see there at the top. This one says Full Moon number 1. And as we go along, you'll notice that the number system kind of changes a little bit. These are mostly in full frame, so in their region 0. And a lot of the transfers on these DVDs are not the greatest. They're not bad, but they're not the greatest. They're better than the VHS transfers. But they could be cleaned up a little bit. But then again, the Grindhouse movies, I think, have that charm when they have a couple specks in them, or they're just not the cleanest. I think sometimes these movies don't always have to be scrubbed completely clean. So anyway, that's Mansion of the Doomed. That's just my opinion. And you'll also notice that some of these titles are a little bit bizarre, but that's what I like about them. And this one is called Blood of 1,000 Virgins. It says, welcome to the night of vampires and virgins, drunken devils and dirty darlings, and innocent violated 1,000 ways. And again, it has that same type of numbering system at the top. This one says number 262, so there's quite a big gap between number 1 and 262. And I'm not sure if there's really 262 or more of these titles, but knowing Charles Band, there probably are. I don't have anywhere near that amount. I have maybe 20 that you guys will see here today, but this one is actually in widescreen. It's very short. It's a 71-minute movie, but then again, these B movies weren't really made to be long and epic films. Next one here is a title that cracks me up, Badass Mother. And this is definitely blaxploitation, starring Fred the Hammer Williamson. It says, warning, this movie will kick your blank. And again, it does have that similar or the same numbering system at the top. But this one says number 265. But then after this one, it changes a little bit, and I will show you guys that. 101 minutes. So this is quite long for an exploitation film, hour and 41 minutes. And if you guys are interested in any of these, if you look down here at the bottom, go over to www.grindhouseflix.com, or where was the other one? The other one is Full Moon Direct, and that's the one I go through. And when they have sales, you can get these for like $5 a piece. And I'm sure you can probably find these on eBay for just as cheap, or maybe even cheaper. But And if you order a certain amount, I think shipping is free, or you get reduced shipping or something like that. But these are nice little films if you can pick them up cheap. This one is called Zambo. And it says there on a sticker, free digital copy. This package contains a free digital copy of any film on grindhouseflix.com. So I'm assuming you can kind of check these out online too, stream them, or maybe you can just purchase them online, whatever. Now here at the top, it just calls it the Full Moon Grindhouse Collection, but at the bottom it has kind of a WE439 spine number, and I'm not going to go into any more numbers here. If it had like an actual spine number, I would go over that, but it says, deep in the jungles of Central Africa, a lone figure moves swiftly through the trees, often heard, sometimes seen, but never forgotten. The legend of Zambo is about to become real. In another life, he was framed for murder he didn't commit and left to rot in a filthy African prison, only to deftly escape into the wilderness. Friend to both man and animal, Zambo selflessly protects the African people from the oppressive forces of the outside world. And the film is from 1972. It is full frame, and it is the unrated edition, region free. And you can see that it does have some creatures in there, so definitely a B film. Here's one that was on Wizard Video. This one is called Headless Eyes. I think that cover looks really good. It says at the top in the corner, too gory for the silver screen. He's out there, out of sight, and out of his mind. Look at that. There's some really good special effects there. I always do enjoy the practical effects, even if they're cheesy or low budget. Again, they have a certain charm to them. This is full screen, region 0, 78 minutes. It says here, this was kind of a bold synopsis. It says, for fans who howled at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Dawn of the Dead, more gruesome gore is in store when blood fills the screen for Headless Eyes. The next one is a sword and sandal. I don't want to call it a gem, but you know, they're fun. Thor the Conqueror. Definitely a rip-off of Conan. And you can see there that it looks quite cheesy. Tale of mythology and magic, of how Thor, a legendary god, triumphs over overwhelming odds to great victory and the destruction of his foes. His parents slain at birth, Thor is raised by Etna, the Birdman. This is also full frame. The movie is from 1983, 85 minutes, region 0. This was also a Wizard Video called Trauma. A slasher film. Full screen, 1978, 85 minutes. Starring Fabio Testi and Arthur Kennedy. Written and directed by Albert Negrin. When private school for girls is sent into waves of horror when one of the students is found brutally murdered. Young investigator DeSalvo finds dead ends everywhere until he uncovers a startling connection between the school and a sinful villa outside the town which panders to rich men's fancies. So you can help find who the killer is. The next one is called White Slave, also known as Cannibal Holocaust 2, and it's supposed to be based on a true story. This has a couple different DVD releases, and it may even, I think it does have a Blu-ray release. It may be 88 films, if I'm remembering correctly. This is not one of the worst cannibal films I've ever seen before. It is 90 minutes from 1985, region 0. And it's kind of a found footage type movie. It says 10 years after her ordeal in the jungles of the Amazon, Catherine narrates her grueling experience to a news reporter. I'm sure many of you guys have seen that already before. Here's another film that was released by Wizard back in the day on DVD. I mean on VHS. Another slasher film, Tormentor. It is rated R, 90 minutes. Film is from 1973. Ketty, a photographer living in Rome, accidentally witnesses the murder of a young woman at the hands of a razor-wielding maniac. Ketty and her fiancé, Alberto, go to the police only to learn that 2 other witnesses to the crime have also been slashed to death. Ketty fears that she will be the next victim when her ballerina friend, Magda, is brutally killed by the same elusive culprit. And that almost sounds like a Dario Argento film. And in fact, it was directed by Maurizio Prado. And I know nothing of the gentleman. I don't even know if I pronounce his name right, but Tormentor. Here's some more exploitation, sexploitation, Nazi-sploitation, SS Hell Camp. Horrifying experience during the last days of the SS. What in the hell is going on in Nazi Germany? And it says, in a remote village in occupied Europe, the SS pursue their inhuman treatment of captured partisans and efforts to force them to betray their comrades, while Fraulein Krast, a sadistic biologist, concentrates her efforts on the women folk with refined tortures and humiliation, leaving them to the mercy of a sex-crazed half-human, half-man, half-beast she has craved with experimental injections. 86 minutes unrated. The film is from 1977 and it is letterboxed. Wow, I haven't seen a letterboxed movie in a long time. There's the half-human, half-beast sex torturer. And you got all kinds of goodness going on in here. Here's another one, another Nazi sexploitation film, The Fraulein Devil. It says, Fraulein Kitty is the sadistic overseer of the Third Reich pleasure train loaded with young women to serve Hitler's combat officers. The pitiless Kitty delights in torturing and killing suspected traitors to the Führer. 1977, full screen, 90 minutes. Next one is called Auditions, starring the next-door neighbors you always dream about. I think this is like a voyeur type film. The only thing more erotic than an X-rated movie. It says a rare historic glimpse at the unique actors and bizarre personalities that showed up in Hollywood at the casting call for Erotic Fairy Tales 2 in 1978. Speaking of fairy tales, the Adult Fairy Tales Blu-ray is available for pre-order at 88 Films with a slipcover. So if you guys are interested, go over check out 88 Films. It says featuring a very young Linnea Quigley from Fairy Tales and Creepazoids and many, many others, who does a nude dance in a dungeon as part of an S&M fantasy. The film is from 78. 82 minutes. The next one is called Necropolis. I think this is like a post-apocalyptic. Beneath the metropolis is Necropolis, where they love New York to death. Lusty Leanne Baker and Michael Conti take you down under to Necropolis in an action-packed zombie thriller that makes Night of the Living Dead look like a slumber party. 77 minutes. The film is from 87. The next one is called Mutant Hunt, and I think this is a post-apocalyptic. The 21st Century Open Season on Cyborgs. When New York is besieged by mutant cyborgs with an insatiable lust for ripping human beings apart, its dedicated mutant hunter, Matt Riker, to the speedy rescue. A diabolical scientist, Z, has injected these mechanical zombies with sexual narcotic that induces a thirst for killing. Huh? All over Manhattan, the robotic Romeos begin loving them and leaving them dead. And the film is from 1987, 75 minutes. Region 0. Mutant Hunt. Here's film gore, and I think this is an anthology. It says it was with a special hostess, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, including murderous movie moments from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Snuff, 2000 Maniacs, Driller Killer, Blood Feast, and many more. Film gore. This one is a must own. I'm not sure if this has a Blu-ray release at all, but if it doesn't, it should. 85 minutes, 1983 this one came out. With the goriest scenes from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Snuff, 2000 Maniacs, Driller Killer, Blood Feast, and many more, hosted by Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, a cosmic cavalcade of bloodthirsty thrills from the most violent movies ever made. An entertaining extravaganza of extreme exterminations, mind-blowing mutilations, devastating decimations, and delirious decapitations. Film gore is an endless orgy of unimaginable atrocity at the incredible velocity. Now, I'm going to stop there before I start tongue twisting, but that does look pretty cool. And how can you go wrong with Elvira? I have 4 more of these to show, and then we'll get into the box sets. And then last I'll show some single editions and the signed stuff. Zombie-thon. Oh, and by the way, if you guys can recommend any of these, comment down below. If there's any here that I've kind of showed you that you may be interested in, let me know. Zombie-thon, the liveliest festival of the dead is about to begin. Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the graveyard, Zombie-thon puts more dead bodies back into action than Frankenstein ever dreamed of, as one zombie gem after another creeps across your screen. From the classic cornerstone of the undead, Zombie, through the wet look of Zombie Lake and the dry look of Oasis of the Zombies, any real horror fan will relish this smorgasbord of zombie fare. Revenge of the Zombies, Return of the Zombies, we've got them coming and going. White zombies, space zombies, zombies from all walks of death. The Invisible Dead appear by popular demand. The historical Midnight Matinee clearly shows death is never having to say you're not coming back. The living dead are the living end in Zombie-thon. 90 minutes, 1986. Here is Dreamaniac. This was also released by Wizard Video. And if you can grab these for $5, why not? I mean, that's almost like giving them away, really, in my opinion. 82 minutes, 1986. It says, in the sleep-stirring tradition of Phantasm and A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dreamaniac introduces Lily, a deadly leading lady who makes Freddy look like a bargain basement boogeyman. And the next one is called Legend of the Wolf Woman. A true story so brutal and horrifying it was kept from the public for over a century. See Daniela's reincarnation. "79 minutes, 1976. On the night of the full moon, deep within a forest, a beautiful young woman starts a rhythmic, ritualistic dance into the circle of fire. As she reaches a frenzied climax, she collapses on the ground, writhing and groaning as her pure skin and lovely features assume the ugliness of a wild animal." So you can check out The Legend of the Wolf Woman. And finally, for the Grindhouse collection, this is The Possessor. Nothing can satisfy her unholy hungers. kind of an Exorcist ripoff. It says right here, beyond the terror of The Exorcist, the Amityville Horror, and The Omen lies a sadistic female demon called Hagia, the Possessor. When Peter, an archaeology student, opens Hagia's cursed medallion, her spirit immediately takes control of him and begins a hellish assault on his loved ones. Richard Conte is in here. There's Richard. 1986, 89 minutes, full frame. So that was the Full Moon Grindhouse collection. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I guess before I get into the 3 box sets that I have, I'll show you guys the single DVD editions. This is Stuart Gordon's Deathbed. And again, I paid almost nothing for these. So this one does have a Blu-ray. I just don't remember who put that out. Somebody can comment down below and let me know who put this out on Blu-ray. This is part of the Subspecies franchise, I think. This is Vampire Journals. I have yet to see it. And this is an old DVD. I think I got this at a pawn shop for just a couple bucks. And the only reason I picked it up is because it was a full moon for $2. It's a Ted Nicolau movie, but I have yet to see it. The next one is called Totem, The Shape of Nightmares to Come. It looks really, really bad. I mean, even the cover looks pretty bad. I mean, it's not all bad, but you always got to find the good in things, right? So let's see. This is 80 minutes. This was released in 1999. Yeah, you can tell this is almost like a sci-fi channel or a Chiller original. I think I opened it already. The next one is called Vengeance of the Dead. This one I may have picked up when... Let me see. Oh, okay. Sometimes I pick up movies when DVD stores, rental stores went out of business. I thought this was one, but it's not. And sometimes they'll have that little silver rental sticker in the middle. But in a small town of Harvest, what the living don't remember, the dead cannot forget. When Eric visits, ghostly little Julia thinks he is the man of her dreams. A little ghost horror film, Vengeance of the Dead. This movie right here is an excellent movie. I really, really enjoy this movie. I think this is an underrated gem. I know a lot of you guys that are watching my channel know about this, but I think the average movie fan or even the average horror fan probably don't know too much about this film, but I know you guys do. This is the 20th anniversary special edition of Tourist Trap, which does have a Blu-ray release. This is the widescreen edition, but this is a really, really good movie. And Chuck Connors plays a really good, I'll call him a bad guy or a villain. He's a really good, creepy lead man in this movie. It's let's see what it says here. An eerie and deserted wax museum, Slosson's lost oasis, is the site for spine-tingling terror, where 4 unsuspecting young travelers are lured into a very deadly tourist trap. Slosson, played by Chuck Connors, is the reclusive and bizarre owner of this attraction, which is actually more like a macabre chamber of horrors. And it's very cool because they do have all these wax mannequins, and it's set up like it's a horror attraction. The grotesque and frightening mannequins in this sordid sideshow are only the beginning of this murderous mayhem and nightmarish madness to come. And you get some special features. DVDs didn't really have a lot of special features back then. You had to get like special editions, 2-disc sets and stuff like that. But you know, these B movies didn't really ever have maybe just a trailer. Audio commentary with director David Schmoller, and new digital transfer from the original negative. and you get 40 full moon clips. So yeah, this is one of my favorites of all time, I would say. Favorite horror films. Maybe in my top, it would be in my top 100 for sure. Next is Horror Vision. This is the Lunar Edition. Not sure what that means, just a kind of a little catchy little tagline, I guess. Des, a webmaster, mistakenly logs onto horrorvision.com, a website that kills all who come across it. So there you have it. Horror Vision. The next one is called End of the World. I think this may have a Blu-ray release. Not exactly sure. It's a classic science fiction thriller. And I think this was a former rental. Let me open it up and see. Christopher Lee is in here. Dr. Andrew Boren is picking up strange signals from outer space that seem to predict natural disasters. When he and his wife decide to investigate, they find themselves held captive in a convent that has been infiltrated by aliens with plans to destroy the world. As alien leader Zindar, played by Christopher Lee, explains, the Earth is a hotbed of disease that cannot be permitted to continue polluting the galaxy. So this movie came out in 1977. It is rated PG. And here is Blood Dolls. Includes incredible full moon trailer reel of 40 titles. I do have the Killjoy box set. I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker because we're already almost at 27 minutes. This is the Diabolical Trilogy box set. Killjoy, Killjoy 2, Killjoy 3. And they're in there backwards. You guys all know Killjoy. Deep in an inner city hell, a ghastly figure is killing off the bad guys. Is it a vigilante? A demon? For the beautiful high school student Jada, that's the question that will bring her to face to face with the killer clown Killjoy. These are pretty cool covers. I'll be honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of these, and if I wouldn't have picked this up cheap, I wouldn't even own it. But it's a cool little set, and I think I paid about $10 for all 3 movies in this set. So that is the Killjoy trilogy. This set right here is pretty, well, let's see. There's a part 1 and a part 2 of this box set. I'll show you the part 2 first because it's smaller, or volume 2 rather. These are the Full Moon Classics, first time on DVD. I picked these up over 10 years ago, I believe. Pretty close. Yeah, I picked these up in 2007, so 11 years ago now I bought these. This is a 5-movie set, which has Robot Wars, Mandroid, Lurking Fear, Invisible, The Chronicles of Benjamin Knight, and Dark Angel, The Ascent. And there you can see all of the spines. I'm not going to go over the breakdown of every movie. I just wanted to kind of show these. And actually, I'll just show you the covers and then we'll continue on. It's a pretty cool little set. I think I picked this one up for about 20 to 25 at the time. Maybe around 30, but not much more than that. There's Mandroid. Dark Angel. Oh, they all have the same cover, I see. So really there was no need for me to really show you those because they all have the same cover. It just has a different title. So we'll put that off to the side. And this big boy here was at one time one of the prides of my collection. This is the 18 DVD set called the Archive Collection, signed by Charles Band and numbered 501 out of 900. And in this set, they have them all in their own cases. And these are the films that are inside. It would probably be better just to show you these little pictures here than to pull everything out. But you get Puppet Master, Puppet Master 2, 3, Doll Man, Demonic Toys, The Pit and the Pendulum, Crash and Burn, Robot Wars, Arcade, Dr. Mordred. What does that say? I got a Master of the Unknown, Castle Freak, which is pretty good. It's a Stuart Gordon film. I recommend that one. That's a pretty fun watch. Head of the Family, Trancers, another good one. Tim Thomerson. I think that's a great movie. And then they kind of started getting silly. Trancers 2, Trancers 3, Subspecies, Bloodstone, Subspecies 2, and Bloodlust, Subspecies 3. So this, like I said, this was one of the pride and joys of my collection back in the day. Same with the Nightmare on Elm Street DVD box set. That was 10 years ago or longer. But the last little pile are the signed editions. I have 4 more things to show, and then we'll wrap the video up. And if you guys are still with me, thank you. I always do appreciate the views, the comments, the thumbs up, the shares. That all means a lot to me, and thank you. I appreciate it. So the first one here is the Charles Band's Puppet Master. These were limited to 250, these next 4 that I'm going to show you, and they're signed and numbered. And I got number 10 out of 250, and that's Charles Band's signature, and it tells a little bit about it in that box. I'll read the first one, but I'm not going to read all 4 of them. It says, "Over the years, I have unearthed a wealth of incredible art for many of our most treasured movies, and I've long had the desire to publish these remarkable pieces in limited quantities, collector's pieces for the most passionate Full Moon fans. So it is with great pleasure I present the Full Moon Variant Series, a handsome collection of DVD wraps limited to only 250 copies per title, each one numbered and signed by both the film's director and myself. I hope you enjoy them. Signed by yours truly, Charles Band." But this one was only signed by Charles Band. It was not signed by the director. The director was Sergio Salvati. But I like that alternate cover, and these were very limited, so I'm glad to have this in my collection. The next one is Trancers, what I talked about earlier, starring Tim Thomerson and Helen Hunt. I enjoy this film. Going back to the 80s, the VHS days. Was it early 90s or 80s? 85. I got number 19 out of 250, and it's signed by Charles Band and the star, Tim Thomerson. So that's really, really cool. 2 signatures and a limited edition piece. The next one is called Bloodstone, Subspecies 2, directed by Ted Nicolau. And I got number 65 out of 250, and it's signed by Charles Band in blue and Ted Nicolau in black. So that's really cool. And the last signed one is Intruder, starring Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi. Another really good film. I actually have both editions that were put out by Full Moon, but this is the limited wrap. This is the regular wrap, I guess, or just the regular edition. It was number 62 in their Full Moon catalog. And but you guys don't want to see that one. You want to see the signed one. So, and that artwork is really, really cool. I'm pretty sure this has a Blu-ray release. I got number 47 out of 250, signed by Charles Band. It would have been cool to have Bruce Campbell or Sam Raimi sign it too, but I'm okay with that. So that was it, guys. Let me know if there's anything that caught your fancy. What did you like in the video? And if there's anything I should pick up, please let me know. Other than that, we're approaching the 34.5-minute mark, so I'm going to close this out now. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you next time.